welcome back to part 2 of that devlog thing I do. Speaking of Yawnfly plugins, I actually noticed a glitch with Doodads. Okay, well, I noticed a couple glitches with Doodads, but only one of them really irks me. So, I'm just thinking if this is gonna intro me into a cutscene. Yes, it is. Oh, wait, no, it's not. I have that set. Okay, so, in EM2, okay, I know what my games are named. In a lot of the maps, I have this, like, breeze effect going, where the, fog just goes left and right. A la kind of what's going on here with these. Actually, I could probably just show you. Okay, so, in this game, I think those are moving. It's actually, oh yeah. I have, like, a fog swaying back and forth to kind of represent the trees moving. Now, because I can actually move trees this time, I really wanted to implement this. But what ended up happening was I can't really use fogs. There might be an external fog plugin. I did not look for that. But I know the plugin I am using currently for parallaxing and fogs does have a fog thing, except it doesn't update right. It requires you to refresh the map to some extent at some times. So I couldn't really just make it sway back and forth. So what I ended up doing is just making a doodad for it. Trying not to slur my words too much here, failing miserably. So I ended up having to do it that way, which is fine. It's a little gaudy, so I ended up not using it as much as in the first game, as far as that goes. But while doing this, I actually noticed a glitch with the doodads. Right, I'm on a different window skin, that's why it looks weird. Oh, I don't know where it is. Oh, I don't know what it's called. In any case, what it essentially was I would have a full square of something. Are you a square? No. Hold on. Okay, so let's use this one because it's actually darker. I don't think well, I might use this anyway. Well, I don't know. Anyway, so by default, it's set to just do this. Just free form it kind of thing. You can set it on a grid. So I set it to a grid that was, 60-something by 60-something. It's a square, and I don't remember what it was, but I set it to whatever made sense. So I was tiling them, like this, you know? Pretend these lined up properly. I don't remember the number it was. So what would happen is I'd scroll down to do the next layer, and then these would no longer line up on the left and the right. I think you can even sort of see it here, maybe? Maybe not. Maybe it works fine with 48 by 48, but unnormal ones want to screw up when you move the screen. And it wants to consistently do that, so it became this, like, annoying thing, and I don't know why it did that. But I ended up having to just do them manually one by one through this whole thing. And that was a pain, and that is why it's only on, like, 2 maps. Can I walk through that tree? Sort of. I should fix that. I haven't super tested these maps. I just made them work to some extent. Actually, most of them are pretty good. Anywho, so that was kind of annoying, so I probably won't do things that way again. But for this area, I wanted it to be specific, with that kind of thing. I wanted to keep that in because I really liked that. And I'm not sure if that's with, like, normal doodads or just with the animated ones, or I'm pretty sure I tested it on a clean file to make sure it wasn't just my game and it was actually, like, a thing. But it was an even number, so it shouldn't be anything to do with that. And it lets you change the grid, so I'd assume it would actually update to that. Anywho, I don't know why I was doing that. But I still love doodads, and it just means I probably won't try to do things that way again. Now, something, while progressing with the game, obviously I'm introducing characters. As far as Chapter 2 and 3 go, I've introduced probably 3 new side-ish characters of relative importance. There's Mizu, and then there's 2 others. Mizu's fine. Mizu's inconsequential. She's cute. Let's actually... let's see her. Mizu. Mizu! She's cute. So yeah, she's a character in this game. She's not super in-depth with the plot, but she's there a lot. So she gets character art and character introductions, and I think ice just fell off my window. Heard this weird, like, crack noise. Anyway, so yeah, she's all fine and good. I have 2 other characters that are of a little more consequence, though. I can't tell you them. The one in specific appears in a flashback. She's very spoilery, so I don't really want to go into too much detail. But my issue is I also wanted to give this character art. Where is that? Why do I have Eon open? America's where it's at, man. Okay, so she takes place in flashbacks here, setting the mood with my flashback maps, and the issue is, in the first game, in GM2, she, there are things related to her that you only find out in the epilogue quest that I hint to through the game, but it's never relevant to the plot, so it's never a forefront sort of thing. I wanted to give her character art, because she's in, like, all of the flashback scenes. But the way I have her designed at present, by looking at her, I think it's really easy to tell who she is in relation to some of the other characters. And I don't like that, but I still want to introduce her. So I might have to give her more of a character redesign than I intended. I based it on her sprite from GM2, but I like that she looks like the other character that I'm referring to, but I also don't like that because I think it's really obvious then. But maybe that's just me, I don't know. Gonna ask a couple people who've played the second game and, you know, be all like, hey, what do you think of this? So I don't know about her. But I do want her to be formally introduced in a cutscene, which is here. So that's been rewritten a little bit. Talking. So, yeah, she might get a redesign a bit. I'm not sure. I feel like plot-wise that might also make more sense to do so. Anyway, and there's another character in the unusual house who's of a bit less consequence. He only shows up like 4 times throughout the game. And he's shrouded in mystery. Okay, yeah, whatever. So, he's a guy, he lives in a forest. Call him the old forest man, the magic guy, I don't know. Anyway, so this guy, okay, he also has some resemblance to another character, and I don't think this is as big of a deal. I didn't design him in such a way to look like the other character. Actually, he looks like someone I know in real life, which is complete happenstance. I just looked at it one day and I'm like, oh, this looks like Sally and Ifo. Oh, it's amusing. I don't know why, because it doesn't actually look like him. I just see him when I look at the character. But, that's also a bit of a thing because of the full arts. Because he also gets an introductory cutscene where he's like, is this on? He's like, hey, you came for my goods, here are my goods, take them, kind of thing. And it's not like this big thing, he's pretty inconsequential, but he also has a thing in the 5th epilogue quest where if you pay attention, then it's like, yeah, that. And I guess technically around the ending he shows up and it's just like, hey, I'm just gonna drop the spoiler on you. It's great. Whatever. So he's also a character that got full art. And that's something I'm noticing with the full art. Just by having them there, it feels a lot more like in your face about the secrets I'm trying to hold for this game. I mean, if you really think it's an issue, you can turn them off. I have an option for that now. Let's see, in terms of character art, Ia is also a character that shows up in some of the flashbacks. For her, I didn't redesign her, just because of who she is. If you played the first game, you kind of know a bit of her backstory. So, she gets to stay the same. I did, obviously, reshade her sprite, actually, with the current art style I'm using here, which is much simpler to do. Yeah, that's one, Ia hyphen? There we go, Ia hyphen. She's like, what? Anyway, so I just used her, graphic from the first game, but revised it for the art style that I'm using for this one. Mild point, I also made the world map smaller a little bit, less water, so it runs slightly better. Yeah. Actually, running it in test play mode, outside of test play mode, I don't have any lag, so that's good to know, considering most of the stuff on here is already evented, except for teleporters to places, which I'm going super simple here because I don't want to weigh any of this down with extra stuff that doesn't need to be here. Wow, that's doing bizarre stuff. As far as what's next, we're in the magic school area, which is another one of those ones that's really cutscene heavy, but I don't think it's quite as bad as Chapter 2. Chapter 2, just because of how much stuff I needed to, like, establish right away. Let's walk around. It was a bit much. This is not so much. This is fine. This area, but... Gonna load. Whoops, full screen button. Whoops, resetting the game. I know how to use this program, really. I know what buttons do. I feel like there are extra lines or dots that I need to get rid of. If my characters walk or face right, I haven't done the sprites for them yet. I do them in a batch in Photoshop where I can just, yeah, like that guy. Walking naked guy. Or girl, whatever. Anyway, so they aren't done yet. They're just a quick flip and it's fine. But just letting you know. That's something I know about. That's fine. It's just easier to batch a bunch of them than to flip them individually. Can I not walk in front of you? Oh, you're just a face, okay. So something I have to consider for this area is actually Locke. Locke is a character who pretty much shows up, wants to befriend you, decides to fight you, is this whole thing. Now, he's actually based loosely on a character from an acquaintance of mine's game, his RPG Maker game, and he was the first person I met outside of my close-knit friend circle of my brother, who also made RPG Maker games, and I played some of his second game, and it hated my computer, so I didn't actually play it all the way through. Like, it randomly crashed a bunch for no reason, and I'm like, okay, debug this, and he's like, it works on mine! So, as far as his characters, I decided to ask him if I could use them in this one, too. So I plan to use Locke. Some of his other characters were just kind of there as extras for the area. And I don't know if I want to do that, or, like, maybe make some cameos for, you know, some RPG games I played, I don't know. Might be fun. But we'll see. I don't know. I'm not sure what to do about that, and I'm also not sure if Locke's gonna get full art. Walking eyes! So I have to decide about that, because I really don't know. Locke's gonna be back for sure, because he's an established character, but the others that were kind of extras, I think I might just have fun with. I feel like I should be able to walk on this tile. Anyway, I think that's getting kind of long at this point. So, I think that's all. I actually had one more point I wanted to talk about, but I think I'm actually gonna save that for next time. I'll make sure to make a note about it so I don't forget it. Well, because that's just another tangent on its own, and I feel like I've already gone on like a bunch of those at this point. Anyway, thank you for watching, or rather listening to me ramble. I don't know. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later, gamers!